Hi, and welcome to Thought Knocks. This is Gary Hewitt, and today I want to talk about headhunters. Now, I'm not going to pretend I've had a whole bunch of experience with them. I did have a recent encounter, and it kind of rattled me a lot. And I just want to express my opinions on what I think happened and why it's happening, and why headhunters may want to be aware of this. So, first of all, I went through a series of interviews, and the consulting company that I went through, they kind of set me up for failure. But again, I don't want to rationalize or justify. I accept full responsibility for the outcome. It's not that. At least consciously, it's not that. But the fact that I got in front of a client and then bombed horribly on the final interview was just really shook me and made me think about the process. And at the end of the day, what I realized was that the process may be flawed. Now, again, I don't want to rationalize or justify my behavior. I should have, could have, whatever, made sure of more things. I tried to, but there was always this, oh no, Rush, you'll be fine. Whenever I tried to answer or ask questions of the intermediate consulting firm, and I got the sense that all they wanted to do is stuff a body into the slot so that they could make their commission. And if that's their business model, fill your boots. I'm kind of glad I'm not part of that, because when I commit to a project, I really, want to make sure that I'm right for the project and the project is right for me. So anyway, so the interview went along, and it came down to, all of a sudden I was being asked to solve in real time a bunch of little bit twiddling problems. And I'm thinking to myself, like, am I stupid? I have been writing code all of my life, and we don't write code like that for production systems, because it's not. And any of the bit twiddling examples, first of all, drag vars into the equation. And the moment you've got vars, you've got code that is not thread safe, for starters. And secondly, if you're doing bit twiddling stuff, you're solving the wrong problems. Most of those things have been solved by collection libraries, by people that are way smarter, have way bigger budgets, and have tested the crap out of these things. So doing bit twiddling stuff is just not, what consultants should be doing. I realized after, and it took me a while to realize this, because like I said, I haven't had a lot of exposure to this world, so it really kind of shook me up. But what I realized is I'm used to solving big problems that take days, weeks, months, sometimes years. That may be me. I may be slow. But you need to find elegant solutions that work long term. And by long term, I mean when the next person comes into the code, they've got a fighting chance to deal with what's been written. And, a lot of times I'm the next person in 6 months down the road. And anytime I see code that makes me feel heavy, then I realize that the code has got to be refactored in a way. Because a lot of the code that I write, I can come back to it 6 months, a year. I have a track record of having stuff in production for 17 years. It's weird, that number, but it seems to have stuck. The first piece of software I wrote ran for 17 years in production. So, and then from there, multiple other things also ran, and they overlapped and whatever. So there's been quite a few of them. Anyway, what I realized is that you have to write code with that time frame in mind. Again, if you're writing the little bit twiddling stuff and you're working, with individual bytes, it's like, wow. I really think you're not focused on the right set of problems, first of all. So yes, you can get very efficient at solving those little problems. Those are not typically the problems that businesses really have. Now, that said, there could be someone, a department, there could be somebody writing a library, whatever, where that bit twiddling is absolutely crucial. I get that, and you need a bit twiddler for that. But for a lot, I really don't see that as being the right way to get talent through an agency that's dropping people in to solve bigger problems. You have to understand the architecture. So even which tool to use could be a decision that takes months to research to see how does this tool stand up in this environment? What are the libraries like? What are the support like? What are the vulnerabilities like? There's a whole bunch of things that really need to be taken into account rather than just jumping in and writing little code to do little things. So that's my beef, and I try to keep things positive, but when it comes to headhunters, I guess I've learned many lessons. I will be far more wary when they knock on my door again, and I will push back way harder to make sure that the environment is right for me before the client ever sees me. That said, I'd rather deal with clients directly when it comes to programming work. We may not be looking for work much longer. There's some projects in the pipeline that look like they're going to pay off. So this whole conversation may be moot anyway. But if somebody is looking for me as a headhunter, be prepared, because I'm going to push back hard to make sure that we're headhunting me for the right reasons, for the right work, and you're not just trying to stuff me into a position just to collect a percentage on a regular basis. Anyway, that's my beef. This is Thought Knocks, things to think about, and thank you for listening to me whine.